Shadow Coast here, and we are reviewing Gladius Relics of War, a Warhammer 40,000 4X game. For those of you not familiar, 4X stands for Explore, I think Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate. I might have gotten that wrong, but you can look it up. Now, right off the bat, I will say that for me, this game was worth the full price, but I have to believe for the majority of people out there, it's probably overpriced. If you love 4X games and you love the Warhammer 40,000 universe, which I do, I love all things Warhammer, this game is probably worth the price. But if you don't check both of those boxes, I'd recommend for a sale at least 10% off, maybe 20% off, depending. But it is a solid game and it gets a lot of things right. So let's review the pros and then I'll get into some of the cons. First off, you can start with 4 various factions: Astra Militarum, or the Imperial Guard, the Necrons, the Orcs, and the Space Marines. The game does a good job staying true to each one and staying true to the lore, which is fantastic. And by lore, I really mean everything we know about the Necrons, everything we know about the Imperial Guard. That plays and flows through into the gameplay, which is very important and, in my opinion, fantastic. So each one here does play uniquely. We're going to start up a Imperial Guard campaign here just to show you an example, and we'll skip the intro there. Right now, in a 4X game, you need to do a few things. First of all, you need to build a base, and expand and manage resources. Up here you can see the resources. For the Imperial Guard, there's food, ore, energy, research, and influence. I won't get into all of those because I don't think that's really pertinent to the review, but long story short, you do have to manage your resources, build your base, and also do research to unlock additional abilities as well as awesome new units. Overall, each faction is a little bit different in the gameplay because each piece does have a unique feel, flavor, and strategy to it to be successful, or multiple strategies to it. And that's the biggest thing that this game gets right, in my opinion, that when you're playing as the Imperial Guard, you need to take and utilize an Imperial Guard strategy. When you're playing as the Orcs, you use an Orc strategy. For the Space Marines, completely different. So each faction is actually unique and not just a retooled, slightly altered version of another faction. Awesome job, A plus check mark there. Alright, so in the game, other aspects it gets right. I personally do like the graphics. If you zoom in on them and you see them taking action, let's see if we can get an enemy here and kind of do it. The biggest thing that I actually like about this game is actually the sound effects. I think they do a really good job with the sound effects. So let's see here. We're going to build Imperial Barracks, which allows us to recruit stuff. We'll choose a random research frag grenade. We're not going to play that much of this game, but I just wanted to give you guys a few turns so you could see what it's like. Now in the game, you do battle the primary enemy is the AI, who are playing as one of the 4 factions available to us, but you also have to fight the wildlife, which can be extremely deadly in lots of different scenarios. Here you can hear those last rifle cracks, last gun cracks. I think it's fantastic. The sound is just phenomenal. The graphics are pretty good for the game, in my opinion, so it gets that right. Other aspects, gameplay, I personally like very challenging games. I have played a campaign on hard, I have played a campaign on very hard, and I'm about to start a campaign on impossible. I have lost the hard and very hard campaigns, albeit they were more learning experiences than anything, but it is punishing and it forces you to really understand and utilize a strategy, or develop a strong strategy that will work and ensure that you're successful in combating the AI. The AI is also very, in my opinion, intelligent compared to a lot of other 4X games. As you can see here, we have severely damaged, but we did not eliminate this unit. It has 2 options. It could attack or it could retreat, and then other units will come in to replace it. Now this is most prevalent with the AI factions, especially the Necrons, which are a pain in my butt whenever I play them, because they will hit and run and repair and come and hit you again consistently until you're dead. So I do think the AI is fairly solid, from that standpoint, and other aspects of it. Although I do feel like the computer in the hard and very hard mode does cheese me a little bit to supercharge their economic growth. A few items to note here: each unit does depend or can be leveled up based on experience. That experience is gained whenever you kill an enemy unit. You can spread it to multiple units if they're standing close together. The experience will spread between the two. So in this case, I think both of these guys had a little +1 or plus point something for experience getting closer. Experience matters and your units matter, and I really like how they did this to the game. For every level, you increase the unit's health or hit points as well as their damage and their morale, each integral to the efficacy of each individual unit, and that really forces you to think about how you use your military, and you just don't throw them away. So for example, an Imperial Guard or Guardsman that's level 10 is an actually very potent enemy to a level 1 tactical space marine. Right now, it's not always equivalent because you are at the end of the day locked to the maximum possible damage based off the weaponry as well as your initial hit points, but it makes a big difference, especially late game. Having higher tier units and keeping them alive will either make or break the game, and I've learned that the hard way. Okay, other aspects of the game. Overall, great game. I like the progression. One of the nice things you can do, and we'll go back to the main menu here, is check out, is determine obviously your difficulty, the map size, your land mass versus the amount of water, and the game pace. Now, the game pace really impacts your research rate and how or when you and the AI will be able to obtain those higher leveled or higher tiered units based off research. You also can do other aspects, and right now there's the Lord of Skulls DLC, but I didn't really I guess you can turn on and off different aspects. So Lord of Skulls, for example, is a side mission you can take on when you're playing through the campaign, which is an interesting way to do it. I do hope that they add some more factions. So let's get down to the cons. Why is this game not worth the full price right now, in my opinion? The first piece I would say is that I would have liked to seen a few more factions. That being said, the level of care and effort they put into each of these, I do understand why they only released with 4. It would be nice to see a few more, and I honestly do hope they come in with the Tau, although I find that highly unlikely given all the other options. I'm assuming they're working on Chaos. I hope that DLC they don't charge us for it, but they very well might. Other pieces here, I would say that in the game, for the different strategies, after you finish a campaign and you play through a couple hundred turns, I'm not exactly sure on the replay value. I will say one thing: changing the map size and the enemy types forces you to adopt different strategies, so I haven't played around with that. And this game does have a lot of good replay value. I will say, since I haven't won as the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard, I lost both campaigns at the end, which is heartbreaking, and you can see on YouTube. I do plan on going back and playing them, but compared to other 4X games that I've played in the past, I don't think that I'm going to be spending 1,000 hours in this game. I'm definitely going to spend a couple hundred, there's no question there, but for me, I really like my 4X games to be kind of a long, game that I love to come back to. I have a feeling I'm going to burn out of this game a little quicker than others. DLC's pending, obviously. Other aspects there, some of the graphics actually are a little bit misaligned. So for example, you'll see something shoot off in the sky to the right, and then it's hitting something on the left. Minor things like that, which could be touched up, and I'm hoping the devs will impact the game a little bit, and in my opinion make it worth a little less than $40 on baseline. So that's my review, guys. Please post, please add other comments, and always I appreciate the subscribe. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next episode.